Hi everyone and welcome to Richard's F1's Vodcast number 2. Today's topic is going to be concentrating on the outcome of the World Motorsports Council's hearing into the team orders case against Ferrari stemming from the German Grand Prix. The WMSC met overnight in Paris with representatives from Ferrari. Bernie Ecclestone tagged along with FIA President Jean Todt, although it was said that he wasn't in any way directly involved with the hearing. And the outcome of the case, after hearing everyone's evidence and claims that were given, was that the $100,000 fine dispensed to Ferrari would be upheld and that no further punishment would be handed out to the team as a result of the case. The fine itself, which is equivalent to a day's wage paid to Fernando Alonso, who won the race, is interesting, and that there's been no further sanction, suspended or otherwise, against the team is equally interesting as well. And stemming from this, the FIA has agreed to review the rules governing the use of team orders, which are currently banned, and have been banned since the 2002 Austrian Grand Prix. And this potentially paves the way for team orders, as the rules currently stand and are written and are, you could say, ignored from time to time. It paves the way for them to be changed or axed altogether. And hopefully that might bring some clarity for the fans and for the teams further down the line. So maybe that'll give us a little bit more surety later down. One of the interesting pieces that came out of this was an interview with Jean Todt after the hearing, who many might roundly criticise for his role in implementing several instances of team orders at Ferrari when he was at the helm of the outfit. He's made it very clear from the beginning that he was going to remain impartial in any disciplinary hearings that the FIA was to conduct, which is an admirable stance given that there was potentially, a very large conflict of interest for him, as there could be for future instances if Ferrari is ever involved as a defendant or a plaintiff in these cases. When he was asked to respond to suggestions that, despite Ferrari's denials, that many people believed that the team had in fact used team orders, his response was, "I tend to agree." Now that's a very, very telling comment. But he did add there that a further punishment could not be imposed on the grounds that there wasn't enough proof that Ferrari had broken the rules. And certainly Ferrari's claim would be that they provided their drivers with information over the radio from which the drivers independently made a decision to change places. I think we all know the truth behind that one. But they were successful in making that claim. And I guess from Ferrari's perspective, that's certainly what counts. What was equally interesting was their lack of protest about having to pay the $100,000 fine, which is frankly peanuts for the team, and the lack of the denial at having implemented team orders after the hearing was, certainly from my perspective, a very large admission that they were guilty as charged and only now prepared to admit to that effect. What's equally interesting and certainly curious is the fact that there wasn't a further sanction tacked onto the judgment, or at least some sort of a suspended judgment that would prevent Ferrari from potentially exercising the same sort of team orders in the remaining races this season. I'm really surprised that the World Motorsports Council does not sort of enact some form of a suspended ban or other sanction on the team that they could exercise if Ferrari was to step out of line again. This really sets a dangerous precedent for the rest of the season if the current rules as they are written are not revisited beforehand. A team could effectively exercise a team order at any stage over the course of the remainder of this season, or until such time as the rules are rewritten, and they could quite successfully cite the suspension, the fine rather, that was handed out to Ferrari, and really for the sake of some championship points and affecting the outcome of a race or indeed a championship, $100,000 is really a drop in the ocean for some of these outfits. And I do worry as to the message that does send to the rest of the grid and to the fans as well too, who will understandably be viewing this with some cynicism. Anyway, we have the Italian Grand Prix coming up this weekend, which promises to be another really exciting race. I think we're going to see McLaren and Ferrari really take advantage of their better power and top speed advantage over what everyone believes Red Bull will suffer for. Although, in fairness to Red Bull, they proved much quicker at Belgium than many had expected. So maybe we might see a slightly closer fight, or at least Red Bull being able to maintain some sort of pace with McLaren and Ferrari, who I think, and many others think, will be very much the clear race favourites this weekend. So we'll have to wait and see. But as usual, we'll be providing with all of the news, the highlights and results. So keep hitting up the site and check out our other categories as well too. We've got the V8 Supercars Phillip Island 500 happening this weekend as well. So we'll be providing you with the news from that as well too. So hope you have a wonderful Italian Grand Prix, and we'll touch base with you again, perhaps via another podcast. Take care. Cheers.